at whether there have been any, as conjectured by a few other studies, look at whether there have been any changes in extreme rainfall for central India, what is also called cold monsoon region. The way we do it is twofold. Unlike prior studies, which use fixed thresholds for each grade, there are 133 grades here, we use a threshold that varies for each grade, and then we pool the data in the following way. We obtain the number of non-zero rainfall days for each grade for each year, pick the median of, pick the 99th percentile for each grade for each year, pick the median of that. That median will differ for each grade, but will be fixed for time. So we have a spatially varying threshold, as this shows, which is substantially varying. Once we identify extreme events, we look at the spectrum. So this is the spectrum of extreme events. This is the spectrum coherence between selected climate indices, Nino 12, equatorial Indian Ocean, and the dipole mode index, which is in this case representative of the Indian Ocean dipole mechanism. The important features are that there is something like a trend, but it's not completely clear. And there are important features around, especially two frequencies or two time periods. One is the ENSO, the other is the quasi-binary oscillation light time period. There are also higher frequency signals, but those are important. Those are difficult to distinguish. Now, coherence with the selected climate indices is also sort of consistent with what we have above. There is a very strong ENSO signal with all three indices. There is also, in many cases, higher frequency or QBO-like signals. The one feature that is artificial here is that there is a decadal signal in every figure, which is artificial because what I have not shown here, in each of these individual series, there is no decadal signal. So then we move on to ask what is really the relationship between these indices and extremes. In particular, we also look at stepping back. Since we are pooling data, what we wish to distinguish is over a large enough region, are there trends, or what is their behavior, rather than just asking oneself in each particular grid point, is there a trend?
There's no photography allowed in the hall.
It works very similar to standard quantile regression, but with discrete data. But we will interpret this very similar to standard quantile regressions anyway. So the main question we ask is, if we look at large enough regions, which in this case correspond to large, higher quantiles, the 70th or 90th percentile if you will, is there any relationship? And importantly, it turns out that at the 90th percentile, which means a very large region considered, equatorial Indian Ocean SST is a very important driver, and so too is Nino. On the other hand, time trends are not that important over the large enough region. And finally, the dipole mode index we find looks like having a negative impact as opposed to the positive impact that is conjectured in much of the literature. It's not clear why this is the case, and it's also not clear if this is really robust to different thresholds, which we have to explore. But the big picture idea with this study is to look at over a large enough region. If you look at climate teleconnections or trends, what can we say? It turns out that trends are not so important, while climate teleconnections over large regions are important. This has implications for model projected increases in, say, equatorial Indian Ocean SST. The point is, since there is no simple coupling, it is not clear what is the impact of an increase in EIO SST on extremes. There can be more extremes, but they can also be unchanged. It is not clear, and more research is needed.